And we're live again. Good afternoon, everyone. And welcome back to another Vector 3D live stream. Today, we're going to be building more of the Darwin Evo. As you can see, this is where we got to last time. This is the mess that I left on the desk, and it's been pretty much the same since. Yeah. I tried to find time during the week to add a little bit extra, but time is hard to find. In a way. And yet it's all around us. Anyway, just so you know, we're sponsored today, just because this is how the rules work in the UK. I've been given some things to do this build, so that counts as sponsored. So it's sponsored by E3D, who have provided obviously hot-ended nozzles and stuff, LDO, who have provided a bunch of the hardware, and Jo Prusa is paying me to make this printer. So there you go. Those are the things that you need to know. It's sponsored. Yay! It is what it is. It's my design, kind of. It's really difficult. I don't know whether to call it my design or not. I mean, it kind of is, but to pretend that Darwin belongs to me is kind of ridiculous. Because that's 100% not true. But Darwin Evo, the specific version of Darwin, every modification is by me. So I guess Darwin Evo is my design, but the original Darwin obviously isn't. And by no means do I really own it, because it's fully open source, so everyone retains the same amount of information about it as I do. But I did sort of create it. Creator of, rather than owner of. Anyway, hope everyone is doing well. Let me know how you're doing and what you've been up to. Good afternoon, Jose. You normally join at the end of the live stream, so I'm glad you're here earlier today. Hope everyone is doing well. We're having some lovely weather at the moment. It's in that weird time of year where from the inside, and because of the sun, it's very warm inside. It looks nice and sunny and warm, but it's still kind of cold outside, but it's not so cold that it's unpleasant, and it's not too windy, so it's just quite nice, really. Watching while you work? Are you whistling while you work as well? Haha. Amazing Disney-based jokes. So, there are a couple of little hiccups last time. One of which we can fix today, hopefully. The other one we still can't. The Bontech gears malarkey. So, obviously I hammered the bearing onto the thing, and I knew it at the time. That was a silly idea. I couldn't get it off. I broke the bearing trying to get it off and still couldn't get it all off because the bearing just sort of exploded. Anyway, that's the way that happened. I ordered a new one, which arrived, but then I realized I ordered the reverse integrated drive gear assembly rather than the integrated drive gear assembly. So everything was in reverse and therefore not in the right place for Stealth Burner. So that's another pile of wasted money, and I bought another one that should be correct this time. Fingers crossed, the bearings are the right size. So yes, rather frustrating experience so far on the drive gear assembly scenario, but it is what it is. Weather is awful here at Portugal. Cold and rain. Looks like England. Yep, cold and rain is pretty normal here, but we do get some nice days, and we try to value them as much as we do, as much as we can when we do. Hello, bees. So I guess we better get on with it. Get on with it. So here you go. This is what we're building. For those that have joined previously, you'll know that there are no instructions, so I'm building this from the CAD, and the instructions sort of, for now, will become this live stream. Not super detailed. It's really not that tricky a build once you've got a general theme, and all the CAD is obviously available because it's fully open source, so you get all of this information as well. And the assembly order in here is pretty much the general order that you want to follow for doing that assembly. And it's quite easy to loosen things, move them about and put things back. So the order of operations is not absolutely critical by any means. The usual Adam surrounded by bits live stream. Yep. The continuation of last week's mess is continuing today. Hopefully after this build, we'll do one that's a little bit more structured and planned and that kind of thing. But no promises. Yeah, this is what we're building. We're continuing what we did last time. And we got as far as doing part of the Stealth Burner Clockwork 2 assembly. So this is the Voron Clockwork 2 and Stealth Burner, but I've modified it for this RepRap style design. As you can see, it's kind of blocky, and that is precisely the point. So the situation that we got ourselves in last time, which we're carrying on from, is, well, last time the LEDs broke as we were putting them in. That's in a weird place. Okay. Yeah, the LEDs broke as we were putting them in. The joints just snapped straight off. So this little harness here that I've purchased is from, well, it's made by Lineo, who have done like Voron harnesses and stuff like that. They do a bit of a mix of stuff actually, but I bought this from 123D in the UK. They ship globally, so if you want to get them, you can. It's not sponsored or anything. I've literally paid for this myself. But this harness seems to be working much better. They've also kind of glued over the joints. They're much better solder, they're much nicer cables, and it doesn't break as you assemble it. I'd say the cables are probably, the wires rather, are a little bit long. But what are you going to do? It does work, it is fine, it does fit, so I'd say happy days. So the other thing, obviously the drive gears we talked about, and now we've got to do a bunch of sort of wiring and things to get everything assembled into here. One thing I have done in advance is flash the Nomi. So the Nomi is a little, well, this one's actually not touchscreen. This is the V1 version. It's a little device which, when powered, connects to the Raspberry Pi via Wi-Fi, integrates into Clipper, and will show Clippery-based information like temperatures and progress, and it shows some little cute animations and stuff as well. You can just use the Big Tree Tech firmware that's already on there, but I have modified it for this build to be a green theme instead of red. It has the RepRap logo instead of the Voron logo, and it's all in green instead of being all in red. No massive changes really there. It's just a kind of color and theme change to suit the RepRap style. So that's been flashed with the most recent, well, not really the most recent, but with the modified firmware. And now that should just plug in. Once it's in there, you can't really get to the USB too easily, so that's why it's important to flash it before you install it. But you can do over-the-air updates, so it connects to Wi-Fi, and you can update the firmware and stuff through there. But if you're going to flash modified firmware, I believe you have to do that over USB, so that's what I've done. Oopsie daisy. So I think this is the thing we need to put in first. It goes in like base first. Should just sit in there like that. And then you'll see you have the nice screen at the front. And then we have this very thin little clip that looks like it won't do much, but actually fits in here, hopefully just right. Oh no, hang on. Before you do that, make sure you plug this cable. What's it doodad in? Tiny little connector on the left. And these connectors thread down through this hole. They should come out down by where the other fan is. Should being the important word. Why are they not going the way I wanted them to? There's lots of holes in this thing. Get in there. Maybe I have to do one at a time. I'm not sure if the hole is big enough for both connectors. That's one. That's two. And then that goes in there, as we did before. And then just sort of pull the wires in gently. Tuck that down there. Jobs are good. Now we cover that up with the little cover. Hopefully this will get everything into the place where it's meant to sit forever. Except it's not for some reason. It should sit kind of flush around the edge. And it should stop the screen moving. Quite a tight fit, but I think that's in pretty well. And then obviously these ones will connect into whatever board and stuff. I had a Nemi, it lasted 3 powers before it died and never worked again. Oh, that's a shame. Oh no, I've not had a chance to play with the VZ bot either. It's been a hectic week. I have way too many things going on at the same time. I think I bitched about this last week. They're all things that I want to do, but it's very difficult. I'm not very good at time management, I don't think. Or I just like too many things, or I just say yes to things that I can't deliver. I don't know. I just end up busier than I'm able to manage. So these are the little bits for the LED. You got the first two just popping down there, but the third one has this little frame. So we've got the clear piece and one of the only black pieces in the build, and that just prevents like light going around the edge. And then we stick that doobly in here. And then this doobly goes in here. And then hopefully this doobly goes in the back. Ta-da! Quite a lot of extra wire. Hopefully that won't be a problem. And then the fan goes in here. What I should be doing really is following the instructions. The LED wiring actually suggests a slightly different route to what I've done, but I've done it this way before and it seems to work fine. So, hello Pedro. Yes, the fan. So obviously making sure to get the fan orientation correct. Which way do we want? So we need this place blowing through the front. This is the back, blows from this side to this side. We just need to work out which way round the fan is going to go. I think that will be okay. I don't think it's intended to go that way, but I think it'll fit. What I might do, I think it'll fit a little bit better like this if I just clip off this tiny little corner. So this little extra bit where the fan cable goes, just going to snip that there, so the cable has room to escape that way. I'm going to put that in that way around. And you get that nice finish on the front. That looks good. And the wire for the fan can go up this little management bit here, along with this wire. And then Poke that under there, I think. Pear trees is very handy for these tight wiring bits. It's just a lot of extra wire here, unfortunately. What we should do, poke this one down in first. This is the one that's got to come up here. There's definitely space for these to go in. It's just actually trying to grab things as you're pushing them in is not very easy. Okay, I think that'll be all right. And we've got those wires coming up here. And then the next bit is chopping up this fan. This is what I've got the safety glasses for, because I have no doubt that this is going to go all over the shop. Give it a quick clean. Remove the front fan, clip off and file down the stock mounting ears. There's a trimming jig STO included to make this easier. So we actually have to take the front off as well. Can't remember the best way to do that. Probably that's one. That's two. The last one should just come out. Cool. Now we have to remove these big lugs on the side. Not the easiest job, actually. Is better, I think, in this case to have it slightly sub-flush than it is to have it slightly proud. So Better to go a little bit over to kill than under. So there we go, what I found like that. Oh, you can't see it against this t-shirt. Oh, this is not sponsored by Fusion 360, by the way. It just happens to be the t-shirt I put on today. I've just noticed it in the camera as I... Although we are doing... Maybe we should say it's sponsored by Fusion 360, not because of the t-shirt, just because I'm using Fusion. Ta-da! They do provide me a license, so I guess technically it would be sponsored. I just tend to forget about it. And they may not be sponsoring me much longer, because I don't make very much Fusion content. Which would be a shame, but there you go. It is what it is. Now, the other thing I can't quite remember is if we have to take off these little clips as well. Probably do. Where does the other one fit? We go up there. There's nowhere for it to clip in, so I think it's best to be removed. I don't think we need it to hold anything in because we've got the screws that mount stuff anyways. Oh, another one here. There we go. Now we also have an additional thing to deal with here. Because we're going to be putting in the Big Tree Tech kit, you'll find all these pieces of plastic in like 2 months when you step on them. The amount of plastic that's just scattered around this room is a lot. I occasionally hoover up, but there's just stuff everywhere. I hate this room. I know, I don't have many crashes with it, to be honest. It works pretty well for me. So we have to have this mounted up here. Did I snippety snip these before? I think I might have done to help with the low profile on this. I'm not sure why they went with through hole on this on this thing. It would have been much better to keep them as surface mount where possible, because then you wouldn't have had this stuff all sticking out the back. So I'm just going to check. Yeah, M3 by 10 is what they want for this. Originally it's M3 by 6 button head. Oh, flat head, M3 by 6 rather. But for the EBB version, which is what I'm using here, they need to be a bit longer. Thing is, don't know if I have those. Gonna have to quickly check the bill of materials. Three by 10 socket head. X carriage M3 by 10 2. Tool head M3 by 10 10. I don't think this full size ones will work. They might. Give it a go. We can find those M3 by 10s. Let's just have a quick clear up. These are all the extra bags. No, I don't need that one. All that one. All that one. All that one. Oh, could do with that. M3 by 16, M3 by 30, M3 by 25. I do not see M3 by 10. Oh, there's more empty bags. Don't know if I've put the empty bags back in there. Just to confuse myself later on when looking for things. And M3 by 8. M3 Nylox. Used all of those. Rid of that. M3 by 10. There we go. Now, I think these are probably going to end up too tall, but we'll have a go. Using a tool headboard, yes. This is the tool headboard. Didn't I just show this 2 seconds ago? Big Tree Tech. Oh, the focus is in the wrong place. The profile that I've saved on the camera, I somehow managed to have saved it with the focus like off to one side, which was a pretty silly thing to do. Which happens, right? So hopefully now, there we go. What's it called? EBB 22, EBB 2040 SB 2209. It's got a really long, confusing name. But it's basically an RP 2040 with a TMC 2209 stepper driver. And that plugs into this, which gives you the expansion for this board. So I obviously want it secure, but I don't want to be crushing the wires or anything. Let's just see. What does this press up to? I think it's this. Yeah, I mean, none of the screws are sticking out, so I think we'll be okay with that. So now we've got to sort out dem wires, because these are all way too long. So we need to chop them down. And I think I've missed some connectors here for my bill of materials, because I have 3-pin DuPont, but not 2-pin ones. I suppose you can cut a pin off of a 3-pin one, sort of cheating, but it also works. Let's see what I've got in this. Oh, I put terminals on there. 6 terminals and 2 3-pins. That's wrong. So 2x. Luckily, this little wire is fine. We need a 3-pin for this. This is just not useful as it is. So we'll chop that off. And then this fan wire, I think, is going to go something like this, and we'll chop that off. And then this fan wire is going to go something like this, and we'll chop that off about there. We don't need any of these. Let's just chuck them away. Now we need to do some Crimping. Let's have a quick look through my box of tricks to see if I can identify any DuPont terminals that I've put in here and forgotten about. It's possible, although unlikely. Maybe I was thinking this would come with some terminals. Alas, it does not. Oh, that smell from the tape I'm getting again. I need to really put it in a bag because it absolutely stinks. Yuck. Problem sorted. That's some 2-pin things. We'll need those at some point. Maybe not yet. Not really seeing any DuPont terminals though. So this is the Big Tree Tech board that we're using. They will have a bunch of terminals with them, but I'm not sure if they'll have the DuPont ones that we need. Can we pour this out into a little tray? No, they're all JST type, so that's not going to be useful. So I'll have to get some extra bits out here and make additions to the bill of materials. Which is weird because I've got some terminals on there, but I can't find them. Oh, there's connectors in here. Are there terminals in here? JST. Aha. Aha. We have some terminals here. One, two. Yeah, I put 6 in, so I counted the 6. It's not going to be enough. We need a 2 plus 2 plus 3. Getting one terminal out the bottom of a bag is not easy either, it turns out. Oh, where's it gone? One, two, three, four, five, six. We need 7. And then we need a crimp tool. This. Is this the one? I think so. Should work. No. I find DuPont terminals much easier to actually press onto the wire first and then crimp them once they're in place. Which is not really the right way to do it, but certainly with these value-orientated tools, it does tend to work better. There we go. So for now, just doing, well, the first two, black and red on the top fan. And since we've got these 3 pins, I'll just hack them down to get the size that I need. Because I'm guessing no matter how you purchase these, you're pretty much always going to get more than you need. So we want to keep the arrow, and then we just start cutting off the end that we don't need. This is not a good thing to do, by the way, but it does kind of work because this size is all the same. There we go. There's now 2 pins instead of 3. Shimmy that in there. Shimmy that in there. Make sure the what's-it's the right way around. Plus, minus, minus, plus, and all that. There we go. That's one fan done. It'll be fine. Oh, I've mangled that one. Well, possible. Not always easy. This is a bit of a do as I say and not as I do, to be honest, but... For low voltage things, and where I don't think that really the safety is impacted at all. I don't see any big problems. Connectors. That on there. That on there. And again, red on one side, black on the other. Why is this not going in right? All the way in, please. There we go. Need that little click noise to know it's fully in. The plus and the minus the right way around. And that's on there. Right. So that's two fans. You can see them at the top. That, hopefully. There's not much great light coming from that direction, but hopefully you can see that okay. And then we can do the RGBs. RG-bargies. We need more DuPont pins. Grab another 3. A stealth burner that has been unstealthed. Yes, that's pretty much exactly what it is. The unstealth burner. You've built the Voron before. How does this compare as far as total weight? Total weight? I don't know. I've not weighed them. Probably similar. Maybe a little bit more. This is quite a big printer. And has quite a bit of steel components. Overall weight probably turns out fairly similar. But then this one is an enclosed, so that enclosure weight isn't there. Right, another 3-pin connector. Minecraft burner. It's not quite that jagged, but yeah, I mean, pretty similar. So now we're going ground, argy-bargy. 5 volts. Nicely done. Bippity bobbity boom. Could have been cut a little bit shorter maybe, but hopefully that's going to squeeze in okay. Bit of wire overlap is not ideal in a case where there is no space. Just sort of have to apply some pressure. And then the last wires are these extra thin ones, which are going up to the top. They're already cut, already the right terminal size rather. Terminal type, that's the one. That's kind of DuPont, we call it, type. And that goes into the 5 volts and ground that are available for the CAN, although we're not doing CAN on this specific device. Although it is from the other bit, you don't need to connect the CAN here, but it's the port for CAN. Hopefully that makes sense. It looks like that. So you can see on your right, those 2 wires are for the NOMI, which just do the power. And then the RGB up from the bottom, that's the 3 pins. And the 2 fans plugged in at the top, and that middle section is empty. That's for a 4-pin fan, but we don't have a 4-pin fan, so nothing for us. Nothing for us to worry about in this case. So there you go. That is a new little stealth burner. Now we have to, on this board, there must have been a bag that came with this that I've lost or something, because we need jumpers. It should come with jumpers, not woolly jumpers, but electrical terminal jumpers. They're like extra tiny ones. And I don't know where they are. They wouldn't be in there. So basically what I want to show you is not there. Yeah, so on the board you need to plug in headers on these tiny little things here to select the voltage for your various fans, here and here. And so if you don't have the little jumper, you can't connect the pins and you get no speed on your fans. So I don't know why they're none in box. That is not great. Don't know if it's my fault or not. There's every chance that it is. It's entirely possible. But in this instance, I don't think it's because of me. No, that was something different. That's something different. I really wish I'd organised this better. We already looked at this box. This was the other one. Yeah. And that was the JST connectors for the other thing, which are... Oh, here's... Because we need jumpers for the other board, are we going to be able to use some tiny ones out of here? These ones might work. I'm not sure if they're tiny enough. I think they might be too large. Yeah, these are too big. Note that down. If I notice them as I'm doing other stuff, then we might be able to come back to it, but I suspect I'll have to contact some people and get somebody to send me some. Or buy some on Amazon if I can work out what exactly I need. Yeah, no, yeah. I don't think there's any in there. There's definitely none here. Poopsicles. Okay, well, we shall skip past that and that and that and that. That's not going to be relevant right now, but this bit is. So this is the joiny together bit. So basically we're mounting this in here, and then that connects to there. Plops on the front of that, and if we've done it right, it should screw together nicely and flushly and tidy. Looks like we've got the wiggle room. So it's more M3x10 screws. These feel pretty long for this, but hopefully they're not too long. We need this little corner thing. I don't know why it's set this up in a really odd orientation. Like this. We do need to take the little covers off. So this up the top, this on the bottom, this go like this, this go like here. Now, if I remember correctly, one of these holes is tighter than the other, so you can like partly hold this on out on this. Yes. That goes there. And then back over here, this goes on this way round. So we need to rotate this. Oh, what? That's good. That's good. Now, I found that actually, I think it has to be a little bit loose because the alignment is not quite perfect. And so you need a little bit of wiggle room to allow it to sit in the right place. Yeah, even there, it's definitely far from perfect, really. It leaves a bit of a gap in your assembly. Which is why in the other one, I tried to get this to sit as flat as possible, but I don't think it's going to get any flatter than this. You just have to accept a small gap, unfortunately. And this is the problem, that screw. Let's just try it without it, see if it makes a difference. No, not really. Oh dear. Hello, Jacob. Yeah, that goes on there. And then we can also do this motor connection, because this is only needs to be really quite short. But we also don't want to make it so short that we end up giving ourselves problems. So maybe this long, maybe this long. And then we just terminal the same as this end. Now we do have JST connectors, we did find them, didn't we? They are here. So 2, 3, 4. If you wanted to, you could just take a picture of the connector with the wires in that have been removed and then remove the wires so you can put these ones in, or just like swap them out one at a time. But I'm just going to end up using a new connector because it reduces the chance of making a mistake. No, there won't be any pushing plastic today, I'm afraid. We're still quite a long way from that. Hello, 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 people joining. Good to see you. don't forget to leave a like, because stuff and reasons and things and whatnot. So I'll give these a little twist-a-rooney, and then we want to match this connector to put the wires in the same place. Otherwise, we probably end up in a mess where the motor doesn't turn, which we may still, but hopefully we don't. The thing is with motor wiring is there's no set specific standard of how to wire them up. So some people do them differently to others, which causes problems for everyone. The good thing is I don't think you can really damage the motor from doing it wrong. You just end up in a situation where the motor won't spin, which is obviously not desirable, but worse things have happened. That's that lot in there. Maybe we can try and do this as well now. Let's do that. Got to go in here. And this is très difficile to get right. We'll put the heatsink on later, hopefully, if I remember. And again, 120 ohm resistor I can't do because I need the jumper and there's no jumpers. Thermistor. Yeah. Okay. I did have... let's have a breather for 2 seconds while I drink a tiny bit of water. Uh, 24 volt, 60 watts. That's what we want. And we have to kajigga together this because it doesn't quite fit, which is annoying. We've got to pull this apart. Not that side. Hello, Benny. Come on, there we go. Now, the problem here is that it's a very tight fit. Despite one being designed for the other, for some reason, I mean, the wires on the LDO, on the E3D Revo have a really solid and long strain gauge. So I found that getting them to fit well on Stealth Boner, not that easy. I mean, they weren't designed directly. Obviously, Revo Voron was designed for Voron, but the Revo Hot End itself was not really designed for this. Not this specific use case, but obviously it was designed for 3D printing. But like, I can't, like, just doesn't fit super great. I want to kind of bend it round, but it's so stiff that it doesn't really bend. Not without potentially damaging it. Hopefully this will be good enough. There we go. I don't want to do it all up fully because chances are we're going to need to take them off anyway. And this is where you'll begin to see le problème. It's really annoyingly close as well. So obviously this is Revo Voron down here. And then that's the wire coming out this direction. It goes up a hole here, through this kind of panel side at the top, through a hole here, out here. And then this is the red and white is the heater wire that goes towards the back over here. And then it comes out here, and the connector for the heater is just behind it here, but this is facing along that way, and this connector, this connector is facing that way, and this is facing the same way. And so to turn it round, you end up losing so much length that I don't think you can then put it in the connector. It ends up like a centimeter too short, which is, as I said, a little frustrating, because it means you have to basically rehack the whole wire just to get one thing to go in. It makes me sad. And these terminals are basically impossible to remove once you put them in a connector as well. So I think what I did before, I mean, the other thing you can do, I suppose, comes with an extension. The extension is, once you put the extension on, you then have to deal with this huge connector somewhere in this zone, which you just don't really have space for. So neither solution, in my opinion, really works for this. The only thing really I think works is to choppy and snippy a new what's it on. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to choppy. We're going to take a bunch of this sleeving off if we can. Being very careful not to chop the wires underneath. There we go. I suppose what we can actually do, since we're not using this extension wire, is use this as our extension. So again, we're going to chop the terminals off of this end. basically want that the same length as that. That's good. Then we're going to solder these to this, and then we'll have a new length of wire that we can re-terminate at a length of our choosing. But that hopefully ends up the exact right perfect length. Unfortunately, you're not going to really be able to see the soldering process because I don't have a soldering station at the workbench for streaming at the moment. I just have this one back here. So you'll just have to imagine it, but I'm sure you can manage that. The soldering of one wire to another wire. It's revolutionary, I know, but I'm sure you'll cope. Now, because we've not put a connector on the end yet, we don't need to worry about the heat shrink immediately. We can do that afterwards. First things first, we're going to get some solder on these wires. At least we would if I hadn't lost my solder. That could be somewhat detrimental to... here it is. Where I left it, as always. I find for some reason these wires don't solder particularly well. I don't know if it's because they're made of something specific or they're very conductive. It wicks away the heat too much, but yeah, not super easy to solder to for some reason. This one's being even worse than normal. There we go. Lots and lots of heat and it gets there. Right, we've got to do these extra wires, the new wires. Trying not to inhale too many fumes. I know you can't see, sorry. I shall be back before too long. All we need to do now is use our little support jig to hold the two wires together in the middle. And then gently heat them until they come together. I'm not sure this is really the right tip, it's a bit too pointy. Righty-ho. So that's that. And then in the kit, there is some heat shrink. This looks like it might be a bit big, but it has a big shrink ratio, so hopefully it shrinks enough. It should shrink down to 1mm because it's, I think, 4mm size, 4:1 ratio. So we should be able to whack that jobby on here. And this, well, we'll do one at a time. And then with heat gun or flame or something. Something tells me this 4:1 ratio might have been exaggerated somewhat. It's a bit fat, but I think it works. It's glue lined as well, so hopefully we've melted the glue, and that should hold everything in place nicely. And we do the other side as well. Maybe not the best, but it has kind of solidified into a glued joint, I think, so that's good enough for our needs. So let's put this back on and give this a little test, making sure the wires are not pinched. Yeah, they do seem quite short. I'm not sure why they are the length they are, but I'm sure there is some logic behind it. And then all we need is like this much length. So now we're going to crimp the new Molex connector terminals onto the end of here. There's a little baggie. So 10 connectors and some terminals. This is enough to extend what we have here. Ideally we'd take the connector off there, but these Molex things are really difficult to get things out of without the correct tool. And since I rarely ever do it, I do not have such tool. I think LDO do. I think you might be right there. Yep, that's right. I might do the pre-crimp method just to get the position just right. Don't want to mess this one up. Nice. That's one. Oh, let me just also turn this back off again, because it gives a weird backlight, doesn't it? Now I've got to put these connectors in here. In a way that doesn't break anything. Right, neither of those are coming out. That's good. Now we have to do the other one. This is even more problematic because we didn't get the box of little connectors with the flipping little board. We don't have the tiny little terminals that we need to do this either. Because these are, I think, JST PH. Oh, maybe I do. Might be able to do it with the connectors I have, but it's annoying they were not included. To be clear, it's annoying because I know they should be included, and they're meant to be there, and they're not. A bit of a bummer. XH. No, I'm pretty sure they're still PH. It's the one that's the original 2209 was using like 1mm connectors, and they upgraded them to larger 2mm connectors, but not as far as the JST XH. Yeah, no. Yeah, nah, yeah. No. It's still PH. We have some PH here. Let's just do a quick check. That T-pin should fit nicely into here. Yes. It is JST PH for sure. But there is also not much room for said wire in this configuration either. Iconic Fab, hello. I hate re-crimping these wires because they're tiny. And they have this annoying sleeve on them, which you can't really see the wire in the middle. I don't think I ever get a very good crimp with these PH ones, but should be enough. I'm going to pre-position it again. Yeah, I'm going to shorten that a tiny bit as well. Oh golly, now I've done it right on the wire. My crimping is normally better than this. There we go. That's one. There's only like 2 wires. 3, 4 maybe? 4 little cores in there. Whew. Oh my goodness. So tense. Right. Hopefully these are good enough. They're not impressive. I'm not really happy with that. Oh dear. Right. See if I can get this on here. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's not gone well. That's not gone well at all. Oh, fucking fuck. Excuse my French. Sod it. It's because these stupid little sleeve things, they just slide up and down the wires. If you crimp to them, they just slide straight off. I hate them. They're rubbish. Now we get to try it all again. I'm not sure what the kit situation is going to be at the moment. I would really like to have full kits, or at least maybe partial kits, but I'm really unsure about what demand is going to be, or what it is. I've had quite a few people sign up for notifications that they're interested, but that's obviously with no commitment to purchase and no specific pricing. So I know that that number of people are not going to order, and I don't think we're going to meet a quantity that's going to make it viable to do a full kit. Last stream I kind of discussed briefly an opportunity or a potential Kickstarter, but Kickstarters are a huge amount of work to do, and again, even to warrant doing that, it still needs, I mean, we had to hit a really high number of kits to make it work, so I'm just sort of basing on the number of people that are interested in watching the live stream that maybe there's not the level of interest that we need in order to make full kits for it. Maybe we do mechanical kits, as you say, but then I also don't have any instructions at the moment. In making instructions for a huge printer like this, I'm a huge printer, for this whole project is a lot of work, and it really needs to be kind of viable for me to be able to do that, because it's a business that I do at the end of the day. Right, let's try these. I've not really used these before. In this current design, it cannot do Voron or bamboo speeds. But really the only limitation there is the fact that the tool head has a tendency to twist because of torsional stiffness on the gantry design. A slightly modified gantry, which improved this printer enormously, which is a pretty simple change to do. But just one that hasn't been done at this time. The frame is really stiff. There's no problem really with the frame. It's just the gantry. Oh, I hate this. Look how ugly it is. You get all this freaking frayed blue stuff. It's just ugly AF. And the wires aren't very stiff and they don't crimp well. I'm giving a good moan today, aren't I, eh? What a whiny little bit. No, I can't get this in either. I did this like pretty much first time on the other printer. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble today. That crimp actually looks quite good despite the blue bit fraying all over the place. So I don't know why this is not going to go in. Where did that little connector go? It's just not even going in. Why? Why you no go in? This is really frustrating me today. Am I putting it in upside down? Yes. So we've got ugly frayed connectors, but it is connected. The next problem we're going to have is that it won't reach the connector that it needs to reach, which will be fun. Okay, those are in and a bit more secure than last time. And it looks like we should have length. Yep. Okay. So that is that modified. JST-VH. I don't know what VH are. Do you mean XH? I mean, I like XH. They're good size. It's about the smallest sensible size. I don't know what VH are. Or maybe like Wagos, like easy mode. Shove the wire in and clamp it down. A 3.941. Okay, yeah, those are massive. Right, that should go on there. That will go on there. The next thing we need to do is this Pinder, super Pinder, super duper. I don't know why I said that. Where's it going? It's basically here. So we just need something that can make it go to here. If we pretend it's like there, then like here. Going to be a bit long if I do it that length, I think. Chop it down a little bit. Maybe we can pull this outer sheath off without damaging the wires. have to do more little silly JST-PH connectors. Yeah, again, they're not in the BOM, but they shouldn't be, because they should come with that ABB toolboard. And then you'll get nice black ones instead of white ones as well. Brown, blue, and black. That's the ones. Oh, we need the little terminals as well. That's way too many. Oh my goodness, I can't get through this. Right, there we go. Hopefully now we don't have to use the little tool. Ah, PH, you are an arse. It's either too much or not enough. This is really getting on my nerves. Oh, come on. Should we go back to this boring? See if this is going to be good to me. It won't stay in the blooming thing. This is why. Ooh. This is absolutely hopeless. Never have I had such a hard fail at doing blimming crimping. Oh, we've got one. It's only taken us 100 attempts. I would say this aspect is probably the main problem with this board. This specific Big Tree Tech one, the pins are just too small. And on this design that I've got, they're actually bigger than they are on others. It's all very well doing them on an automated machine that can just do 100 a minute or something daft. But by hand is a different story. Because it's not really the proper tools either. Proper crimping tools are outrageously expensive. That's nice. Okay. One more. Nope. The PVC is just too wide for the flipping connector. This is what's making it very difficult. Because once it's in here, once I put the crimp in the tool, I can't put the wire into it. Holy balls, I think we've made it. So, this is oh, this is not even the right flipping instructions. Man alive. Brown, then blue, then black. I just hope to God that that is the right size. Because sod doing that again. Shit. Oh dear. Oh, the concentration. Just to get tiny little connector and tiny little terminal. Right. I've still got this huge gap because of this board. I'm not sure I'll be using this toolboard again. I'll be going back to a different one, I think, next time. Because it just doesn't really fit that well. Right. This doobly, that doobly, that doobly. Dibbly dabbly doobly doos. Right. Now might be a good time to get this mother hubbard on. So you place this on the RP2040, I believe. Though it seems like the TMC driver is more likely to overheat. But we don't have a heatsink for that. We have one for that. So that goes there. Apply some pressure, but not too much. Hello, more people joining in. So we'll leave the actual CAN cable for now because we'll do that when we do like the other end, I think, and we'll bring it over and terminate it. For this right now, I think we're good. That can go Don's Le Bin. That can go Don's Le Bin. We'll keep the zip ties, and the rest of that can go Don's Le Bin. I don't know why I say that. Fender probe, remaining cable, Don's Le Bin. That's the full extent of my awful attempt at French. It's probably even wrong, even like every aspect of what I'm saying is probably wrong. Hey, are you pro on 3D printers? In what way? I'm pro 3D printers in that I believe they are a force for good. I've done printing for quite a while, yes. This is not my first time by any means, by any stretch, or whatever the term is. Name me box, don't need that. That can go. We don't need an X limit switch because we do sensorless homing. Don't need BL touch. Right, we can now mount this to the printer. It's not really easy for me to help during a live stream. If you find my Discord channel, you can go to the hashtag troubleshooting section. You can create a troubleshooting post and I can help you later, or somebody else can help you in the meantime. There are plenty of expert enough people there, I'm sure, to be able to assist you. Right. Ooh. Yes, we're still missing the M8 nuts for the corner because I forgot to search for them, or rather, didn't have time. It seems incredible, didn't it, that I did not have time in an entire week to find 4 M8 nuts. But that's life. We're going to now mount the tool head to the top here, but you can't see it very well because camera angles. That's life. So now we've got to work out how to mount these bits and bobs. M3 by 8. So it should go basically there. With 2 screw. This should go. Oh, I've not put those in. What length are they? These two. M3 by 12. 20, 25, 16, 10. Great. Where's the goddamn 12s? M3 by 12. Is that forwards better? Kind of see what I'm doing here. These are just kind of the alignment pins for the lower section. Eee! That got caught and I dropped it. Oh, I'm putting it in backwards, was I? Surely not. I'm not that stupid. Oh, I think the screws are too tight already. That's that in place. Oh, before I stick that in, let's make sure this pinder fits where it's supposed to. Well, it does. Just requires a little encouragement. The bracket is quite tight. That'll do. Let's have a quick check. I can't remember what length screw needs to go in here to hold the Pinder probe in. And 3x16, they were somewhere here. This will be adjusted a little bit later on, but for now, holds it in place, which is good. Now we get this lock back in. Try not to crush any of those wires. And then this on here. Have a little bit of a wire problem. It keeps popping out and it gets in the way. We need the two M3x50s, I'm pretty sure, for this. This is like the only reason we have M3x50s as part of the build. Two M3x50s and two M3x25s, although I think that's undated. Two M3x20s I think is sufficient. 12, 30, 10, 25, 50. What's in the CAD again? Probably nothing. Yeah. I think in fact it's 120 and 125, but I don't know exactly what version of the stealth bomb that I've used and which screw is intended to go in there. We've got M3x25s, and I don't see any more M3x20s. Those are 20s. I think we'll go 220s and see how we go. This is when the bottom now starts to pop out relative to the top. I wonder if there's a better, more recent version of Stealth Burner that assembles a little bit better. I've always had problems with it having weird little gaps in places where there shouldn't be gaps. There we go. Ta-da! Some little gaps here. We've got Tesla-sized panel gaps, basically. We still have to disassemble it to put the gear in at some point, but the tin is a stealth burner tool head, sort of. This is the other downside, you can't see it very well. That all looks pretty good though, I'm happy with how that's turned out. Those connectors were a bit annoying, but other than that, not too bad. I'm not sure what the next thing is, but I think we've got to a nice stopping place after 2 hours, so I think it might be a sensible place to stop. Let's see what's sort of next. I mean, we've got to put the blooming bed in at some point. I need to... I have to do all the cutting for the bed. I might buy one cut. The last time I cut the plywood, I ended up getting basically hay fever from the wood stuff just covering all over my flat. So I don't really want to cut it inside again. And I can't really cut it outside because I don't have any workbench out there to cut it. I might have to get one cut for me. Other than that, we could fill in some extra little bits and bobs. No, we'll leave those touches for another time, I think. Or we could do them now. No, they need a couple of little bit extras added. Sorry, I'm thinking we need to do some M5 heatset inserts for some of the little kind of electronics management blocks. So the downside generally of heatset insert tools in their current iteration, you can't really change the tool when hot, so I can't really go straight from doing M3s to M5s. But since I've not done any M3s today, now might be a good time to do some M5s. So, as soon as we finish the main bit, we can go back to doing little bits in preparation for the next step. For those that have not seen it before, say hello to VLMP Pro. It's absolutely wicked. What do I want? 5 heatset inserts. Should be counted out. 5 by 5.8 CNC kitchen size. Should be cold. Yep. I think the rest of my tips are in the other room because I've been busy designing stuff and I needed them. So for M5, that's just at the point where the tip won't go through this. So you have this screw type where you poke the screw through, then whack it on here. And then whack that on the end. That's that. Now we need the parts to press the inserts into. Oh. Try not to pull them all out in the process. That's so. I don't think any of those ones. Oh, yeah, one does. So one of those. Which of these is the... That must be the 90-degree one. Because that isn't. That isn't. And that isn't. So one of those and one of those. And 5 inserts. And then we also need them in these. We need... So that one's going down there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6. So it should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How many do we have? 16. So there's probably some more to go in somewhere else that I've forgotten. I might have just put more in than I needed in the original design. Oh. We got a slight, yes, a slight burr issue. Are we hot? Let's make it a bit hotter. M5 inserts take quite a bit of juice. I think we'll pump the temperature up a little bit more. 260. Looks like my holes might be a little bit tight, but not too bad. I've still not treated myself to a deburring tool of the CNC kitchen variety. Because the one I have is a bit fat for doing these little holes. Hello, Ella. Half of today's stream's just been trying to do JST pH crimping. That was fun. How do I? Yes, here. Oopsie daisy. pH, your favorite. Yeah, I mean, before I've not had that much trouble with them, but for some reason today they were an absolute nightmare. We just about managed them. But I did not enjoy it. XH I got pretty much nailed. I don't fail those too often. But pH, oh my goodness, they're awful. There was even a version of the toolboard, as I mentioned to others earlier, with connectors even smaller than pH. pH is like the upgraded version with larger connectors. They were just absolutely tiny. They sent me one, and I was just like, I'm just not going to do this. You need tweezers to like even pick up the connectors, the terminals. They would just... It's one of those things that felt like it was designed in CAD, where you zoom in and everything can feel enormous, and then suddenly you get it to real life, and you realize everything is sub-millimeter size. Right, those are the main ones I think we're going to need probably for next time. Hopefully. So I think we're going to call it that. I'm going to go get some food and stuff and enjoy the rest of my Thursday evening. Hopefully. Fingers crossed, perhaps, maybe. It's been a jolly lovely stream. We are making progress, although the printer has not changed very much this week, I'm afraid. We have got the stealth burner clockwork installed now, which is nice. Everything's moving pretty well. I had a little wiggle around with that during the week. Bearings and stuff seem to be moving full motion without too much trouble, so that's always good to see. It means we should get the speeds, accelerations and durability, etc., that we expect. That's pretty much all there is. This is Darwin Evo. I'm Adam. That was VLMP Pro. We're sponsored because I gave stuff by E3D and LDO Motors and Jo Prusa. But this will be his printer, so he's paying me to build it. That is all for today. Thanks for joining in. Don't forget to leave a like and a comment after the stream. Share it around. Share the love and all that jazz. And I will see you. Well, I don't want to promise anything between now and next Thursday, because let's be honest, I'm not very good at squeezing in extra live streams in the middle of nowhere at the moment. Doesn't mean it won't happen. It just means it's quite unlikely. So yeah, I'll see you next Thursday and we'll carry on. I doubt I'll have a bed. I'll try and buy a bed pre-cut because I don't want to deal with that. And then hopefully we can do bed installation maybe next week. Although that probably take 2 weeks or something to arrive. So we'll get on with maybe some electrical installation, drag chain for the X-axis, support thing, filament sensor. I also need to redesign was writing down as I was saying it. I need to redesign the screen holder because the screen is a very slightly different version. So the cables are now kind of on the back instead of on the side. So I need to jiggle that around so that it works. But that's it. Excuse me. Thank you very much for the stream, everyone. And I'll see you next time. I don't have a mouse. Where's the mouse gone? Goodbye.